We are all going to die. And when our moment comes, we'll take our last breath. And suddenly, life is over. We can't buy more time, so what are we doing with the days that we have left? Are we living our purpose, or are we slowly dying to please others? Bronnie Ware, a nurse and an author, wrote, "The top 5 regrets of the dying." The number 1 regret was, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to who I am and not the life others expected of me. Can you relate? I can. I would have died with that same regret, but I discovered 4 steps to break the habit of people-pleasing. But before those steps, I spent 40 years on this impossible mission to make everybody happy. Not because I was being nice, but because of fear. Fear of rejection, fear of disappointing others, and fear of not being enough. So, I became the chief of everybody's happiness, the professional rescuer. I was solving the world's problems, but I was ignoring the ones that were killing me. You see, many of us, we hide who we are to fit in. We waste so much time being who others want us to be. And let me tell you a secret. Every time we say yes but mean no, a part of us is dying. Why? Because there is a deadly cost to people-pleasing. It is costing us our health, our identity, and our time. You see, my impossible mission to make everyone else happy was interrupted in 2021. I was 38, a marketing executive, happily married with 2 kids. My arrogant thought of, I still have time, was interrupted with 3 words. You have cancer. Ooh. Breast cancer. 30 rounds of radiation, 16 rounds of chemo, and 4 surgeries. Whew. I spent a lot of time in this one-size-fits-all gown. But this time I didn't want to fit in. I was angry. Angry that my life had been interrupted with a cancer diagnosis. And angry that I had wasted so many years saying yes because of fear. Something had to change. So on my last day in the hospital, I made a decision. I fought too hard to survive cancer, to go back to slowly dying to please others. It was time to start living for me. But the only problem was, I didn't know how. So after years of research on behavior change and coaching hundreds of clients in my own healing journey, guess what? I found the solution. F-R-E-E. Free. It's the 4-step framework that finally gave me the courage to remove the constant pressure that held me back, to remove the layers that hid the real me, and to remove the constant pressure to say yes. You see, people-pleasing is a habit that you can break, and the FREE framework will show you how. Let's take the first step together. Are you ready? Yes. Are you ready?
Yes.
Step number 1, face the truth. I had to admit that I was a people pleaser and I was addicted to external approval. But people pleasing doesn't happen overnight. It starts in childhood. We learn how to make people happy so that we can be loved, we can belong, and we can stay safe. But what once protected us then is costing us now. I want you to think back. Who were you trying to keep happy as a child? Was it your parents, your teacher, your coach? That is where the habit started. But let me tell you another secret. People-pleasing is not about being nice. The habit is rooted in fear. For example, if you are already burnt out and you're taking on more work, that's fear of not being seen as a team player. If you are constantly changing who you are to fit in, that's fear of rejection. So until we can face the truth and identify the fear that is driving the habit, we can't break it. So be honest with yourself. Are you a people pleaser? And if so, what is your fear? The second step to break the habit of people pleasing is to rewire your brain. You see, this is what gives me hope. We are not stuck. Say that with me. We are not stuck. Our brains has this unique ability to change. It is called neuroplasticity. Have you ever had this thought? If I don't say yes, then they won't like me. If they don't like me, I'll be alone. If I'm alone, I'll die. That's fear. Fear is what keeps the habit going. You see, when we say yes or when someone says good job, our brain releases dopamine. That's that feel-good chemical. And you see, behavior that's rewarded gets repeated. So, if you think about it, the question becomes, how do we rewire the brain? First, your brain needs evidence that it can survive saying no. So we're going to practice. I'll ask you a few questions, and I want you to shout no. Question number 1, can you stay late to finish the report? No. Question number 2, can you host Thanksgiving dinner again this year? No. That was pretty good. See there, you said no, and you survived. The second part of rewiring the brain is to put a pause in between their request and your response. This pause is where your power lives because it gives you time to think about if you want to say yes or no. You can try a phrase like, let me get back to you. Rewiring your brain, it takes time, but with habits and with constant practice, the habits begin to break. The third step to break the habit of people-pleasing is to embrace the messy middle. That is the uncomfortable space between who you were and who you are becoming. Many of us, we want to skip this step, but this is where the real transformation happens. I want you to think about a butterfly and a caterpillar. Over time, that caterpillar disappears into a chrysalis, a dark protective shell. From the outside, nothing looks like it's happening. But from the inside, that caterpillar is dissolving into a liquid so that the butterfly can form. You see, the caterpillar cannot skip this step, and neither can we. The messy middle is that inner healing journey where we finally release the belief that we are responsible for everybody's happiness. We are not. For so many years, I spent so much energy trying to make everyone else happy. But the reality of dying caused me to stop. And I took that same energy and I began to pour it back inside of me with therapy and journaling and facing my fears and finally asking myself, who am I? And what do I actually want? So the old me, the people pleaser, had to dissolve so that the new me, the one who knows her purpose and sets boundaries, can begin to fly. Once we have faced the truth, rewired our brains, and embraced the messy middle, the fourth step to break the habit of people pleasing is to evolve. Based on science, once the butterfly breaks free, it cannot crawl back into the chrysalis. And neither can we. You may have to introduce yourself to people. I know I did. So allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Thandi Montgomery. I am no longer the chief of everybody's happiness. I am the CEO of my life. And I wake up every day living my purpose, helping people reconnect to who they are so they can live and lead as their true selves. That, my friend, is evolution. You can clap. Now, I have to warn you, when you begin to evolve, not everybody is going to celebrate. But that's okay, because listen well, you don't need their permission to change. Keep evolving because life is short. In the top 5 regrets of the dying, there's a story about a woman named Grace. Grace spent her entire life living for her family, her friends. And she would tell herself, someday I'll focus on me. But that someday never came. Suddenly she was diagnosed with this terminal illness. And on her deathbed, she looked up at her nurse and she said, "How is it that I waited all this time to be free? And now it's too late." And then she whispered, "Promise me, live true to your own heart. Don't worry what other people will think." And within hours, she was gone. We're all gonna die. But we don't have to die without truly living. So the next time you want to say yes, but you mean no, remember, people-pleasing is a habit that you can break. And now you have the 4 steps to finally live free. Free to pursue your purpose, free to prioritize your needs. Memento mori. It's a symbol. And it's a Latin phrase that says, remember, you must die. And you will. So the question becomes, what will you do with the days that you have left? Will you keep dying to please others? Or will you have the courage to start living for you? Thank you.